Jeeva Karja, Taemun Shah, La Fishinella. I wanted to kind of record this video and speak, long form about the latest in Sionnach, give updates, and maybe make this a regular habit to kind of communicate what's going on, what the vision is, what's successes, frustrations, this type of stuff. I realized speaking to people in the last month or so that a lot of what I take for granted, it's not obvious at all to other people. So it's good to start communicating um, where I'm coming from, what I'm trying to do, what the app is all about. So Fido in the month of May, uh, I built a prototype app that was just simple exercises focused on regular verbs, just three tenses, and it was a tree metaphor. You plant a tree, you keep doing the exercise, and you build them up. It was more of an Anki type app than it was a Duolingo, but it was kind of targeting maybe more serious learners, I guess. People maybe after Duolingo. Uh, my videos at most got 300 views, and it was quite nice. And I was hoping to get 12 people to sign up to my app so I could get through the Android review process and get the app in the store and start building from there. However, the universe, the world, had a different plan. So after I had built the website to get signups, um, and after I went to bed and got up, it was tens of thousands of views, and it was 1,000 people on the app day one. I'm just glad I built it the way I built it. That I could handle the load because the first app was just a web app, right? Um, it was running on a potato in Madrid, and actually still is running on that same potato server. Um, yeah, so then since the month of June was pretty hectic. I work as a contractor. I work software contracts, building apps and software for clients. So when I wasn't doing that, I was working on Sionnach, responding to feedback, looking at the anonymous analytics, seeing where people are falling off, and it was pretty clear why people were bouncing off it and stuff. So I started building out stuff to address that. And the more I built, the more features I did, the stats were showing that people were sticking around more, they were using it longer, and the stats became quite strong actually. Like they became twice as much as the industry standard for language apps. People are using it at 10 minutes on average ago, and then they were using it like over a couple of days for 30 minutes, and all of it was pointing in the right direction. Um, so yeah, I kept building, and then Michael joined me. I know him as Uncle Mick, and we started working. So yeah, we built it out more and more, and then we would keep building it out. At the end of June, it was around 30,000 lines of code. We use Flutter, the Google framework, and then their language. It's good because it works on iOS, Android, the desktops, web, and stuff. As a language, though, it's quite verbose. It's like a phone book writing stuff. So 30,000 lines of code. Um, bugs were coming in left and right. Stuff was built just to work, get it out there and see if people used it. But we needed to go back and refactor and rewrite a lot of it and put in tooling, put in process, all this engineering stuff to ensure code quality. So we did that, rewrote and moved and changed all of the code, made it more modular, put in a lot of code generators, all kinds of stuff, testing, pipelines, engineering terms. And at the end of it, it was much easier to work on. So weekend just gone, I removed the audio player system because it was causing absolute chaos. It was causing the Android to crash randomly too, which was not pleasant. And I put in a new one, and now it's working much better. So one thing to be aware of, which wasn't obvious to people, and even those that did know, we're not sure why we would do it this way, but is this is a passion project. This is a um, outside of 9 to 5, 40-hour work week project. Um, and the reason it's like this is because this is the best model for what we're doing. This is similar to, a Linux or an FFmpeg or even a language like Haskell. It's free and open. It has no deadline. It has no shareholders. It's just the people working on it who love it and want it to be the best it can be. And you might say, well, why would you do it this way? Why would you not go and do the Silicon Valley way that everybody else has built apps? Go and do a pitch deck and then go and do a business plan and go talk to a VC and then pitch them. Well, the reason is because all of that takes time and effort and takes focus. And success in that field would look like somebody giving us money in exchange for a promise, and that promise will be to return the money 10x. If it's still the way it used to be, I'm not so sure. But um, so how long do you think it would be before they told me to put in ads or paywall or change language to something that's more mainstream? Um, or if I study Irish, to do more languages, because I guess if you type in Irish learning app into an app store, the apps you'll find have about 100 or more languages. And this has kind of been the model, the Silicon Valley model for the longest time, right? One app that suits everybody, you know? Um, but I think that doesn't work for us. And I think anybody who has used Duolingo can see where that ends. And sure, yeah, you could probably do Duolingo better. They had 1 million people learning Irish in the app. I'm sure that with that money, you could do something interesting. Um, but for me, my whole professional career and before, the most successful projects, the ones I've been most impressed by, have taken the open source model, the community model, of people who are passionate building something that they care about. The sole aim of people working on this should be to create the best app and to teach the language. Um, Anything less than that will just result in poor software, I think. And yeah, I'm convinced. And if someone wants to disagree with me, I really would like them to go and raise money and build an app, and then we'll have two apps. That would be incredible. Um, so yes, that's why I took that route. I still think it's the best way to do it. Um, and as we build it out, we'll see how it goes. So with that in mind, it has its own set of challenges. So we don't have the issue of making a payroll or having a runway or stressing over how to maximize income or pay full-time salaries or any of this stuff. But equally, we don't have much resources. We have to kind of be smart. We have to manage our time, manage expectations, manage stuff, build it out sustainably. Um, so basically, the way I'm approaching it, the way I want to do it is to go slower, as I've been doing. Uh, but when we get there, we'll provide the full quality, right? So it might take a bit longer, but once we're there, it's going to be it's going to be everything we want. Um, so with that in mind, like we don't really have the ability to drop everything and fix a bug, for example. We don't have designers to make artwork for us. We have to use AI, and that costs money. We don't have people working full time to bang out features. We don't can't pay content creators. We can't pay native speakers. But when we work on it, we can build it out the way we want to build it out, and we listen to people's feedback. We listen to bug reports, and we're going to keep doing it. And every weekend we add something more, or we fix something, or it just gets better. So week by week by week, it'll continue to improve, and we'll keep listening to people's feedback. And most importantly, we ourselves are learning the language. So we're our biggest critics. If it's not working, we will change it. Um, so far, though, I've been using it since about the end of May, and I found it really, really effective. Um, I've been reading this on Howard. I've had this for a few years now, and getting my head around the irregular verbs has really helped me to read this unaided. Um, Obviously, there's still words and other stuff I need to look up, and I don't know, but I'm surprised, or like it's interesting how often irregular verbs pop up while reading. Um, and I'm really looking forward to moving forward and doing these next courses. So when we first released, and it was clear people are not happy with the irregular verbs, put in this voting system to see what people really wanted. And I mean, you could probably guess it was this. I am a little surprised. I thought most people, because there are so many fantastic resources on Introduction to Irish. There's Gone Stro. There is the book by the Christian Brothers, the orange one. I really like that book. Um, any number of courses on YouTube, free TikToks and stuff. My Fane, McCanter, my Amshire, um, these type of stuff. But we will be doing this one next. Um, yeah, we went with irregular verbs because uh, it's the most useful part of the language. We could pick 400 sentences, get the audio down, and then build the tooling for this. And if it works for irregular verbs, it's going to work for the other courses, right? So we have one more feature to go in irregular verbs, and once that's done, it's focusing on removing any bugs, issues, responding to feedback, and then focusing on Introduction to Irish, and then whatever is the highest voted after we finish that. The tooling is such that these courses can be done relatively quickly. Most of the work so far has been in code and creating features. The courses just require audio and text, so uh, we should come. That's kind of one of the exciting parts of this app is when we kind of get the core loop, game loop, or the interaction loop down, and it's working. We can put any content we want into the app, and that's quite exciting. Um, yeah, so we have the irregular verbs, and let's take a look. So I'll show you this in a second. This is a preview of the last feature before launch out of beta. And in the beginning, I don't know if anybody remembers, it was just a simple exercise, plant a tree and then do 12 exercises and watch it grow. People didn't like that. I can understand why. So it was organized, we organized it like this. Um, so 11 irregular verbs, past, present, and future. Um, and then listening and speaking. These have been added in recently. Um, so yeah, so let's take a look. So this has all been redesigned, and the idea is to allow the keyboard to be open and to still see everything. So your prompt, which is optional, the current word you're typing into, um, this also opens it, and then the sentence you're building here. This is your progress. So when you begin, come to a new verb, new tense, 3 sentences you do first. And these are like the core, most common sentences. And each time you do the lesson, you start with these 3. And by the end of the 10 stages, you'll have 12 sentences. 12 sentences unlocked. That's why I have 12 here. Um, I've added in a scoreboard. You can get XP. If you use the hint, you lose XP. If you use the audio, you get more XP. And obviously, we can do more with this in the future. And then a little word counter, just to kind of like count as you go. Progress tracker. For the desktop, the browser, I put in the hotkeys here. So 1, 2, 3, escape, so you don't have to click. Sionnach. So how will
Jerem.
Jerem? I'm so not used to the Spanish keyboard on my MacBook. Jerem. So you saw that on the road.
Jerem an rud is mian
And
lom.
you finish and you hear the sentence again. And then this was much requested. Press enter on finish on browser. This one here turns to green. You have your 7 words done, your XP. So in the beginning, when this was the exercise, and the idea is that this is JR, right? So if I put in J, audio, visual feedback, this is wrong. And the idea is that you can just build up the word bit by bit without going to Google Translate and trying to guess, using common patterns in Irish and pick it up slowly. When you speak and read in your native language, probably go word by word, chunk by chunk. But when learning it, it is really valuable to focus in on letter by letter, building up the patterns there. And this has been quite difficult because there's so much going on in the modern world, right? That taking time to actually do this is difficult. And the idea of this was to get you to focus in. And it's based on the ideas of scriptorium when you write out by hand by Alexander Argiv, the linguist. This guy has like 20 languages or something. But yeah, I was doing it by hand and I quite like it. I think it's quite effective. So have a listen.
Jer. 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 Jer.
And if you're like coming from an English speaking background, you might even think this is a J. But then you realize that the DE is the J sound.
2.
I recently switched to Ulster Irish as a dialect. I was using Munster before. So yeah, you can see no, I use the audio and then you get a bonus. If I use I'm stuck, I get even less points. And then yeah, that's it. And then if you want to change dialect, you can do it here. We used to have a submit audio button. We've removed this for a few different reasons. But you can see the vision. We want to have these full, right? We want all the islands. We want the different villages and regions and different dialects showing up here. We want, Waterford Ring Gaelga, and we want Corcaguina and this type of stuff. And maybe we might even get like some dialects that are not that spoken or spoken at all. Maybe we could even get someone to do some Rathlin Island. Right, that'd be cool. So that's kind of the idea, because with Irish specifically, right, it's very, very, very audio. Like if you learn yourself a Spanish or French, you learn it in a classroom, very sanitized and book learning, and then you go to the country, you go to Paris, and you realize it's a different language you're speaking. They're dropping words, adding them in. It's all kinds of stuff going on. But if you stick around for a while, you pick it up. It's more difficult to do that with Irish. It's less difficult as years go on, more and more people speak. But especially if you had to leave the island, getting this access to the language as it's spoken is quite difficult. And you can listen to Ross Naroon, Teacher Carter, and stuff. I guess you might struggle to get something outside of Connacht, especially if you're maybe from an Ulster Irish background. I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I don't watch Teacher Carter that much. I just watch Coda 4 and the kind of cartoons. But yeah, so it's kind of difficult. But the written standard is famously doesn't really match up to how it's spoken in different parts, different regions and stuff. So you really need to have the listening part, and this is what we're really trying to get. Neither of us are native speakers, so if there is any native speakers out there and they would like to help, and it would be incredible. It would generally be incredible if someone could come along with like native speech and provide some audio. Game changing, actually, I would say. Um, okay, so that's this. When we add stuff in, we always add options to turn them off because it annoys some people. Sound effects, if you're in a room or something with headphones, turn them off or you don't like the sound effects. Auto progression is at the end of the sentence you see the my who. If you have auto progress on, it will just skip on right to the next sentence. Why would you want that? Maybe you want to go fast and do as many sentences as you can. The my who screen is designed so that you can look at the sentence you just wrote and listen to it. Playing complete as you type and you finish the word, it will play the word afterwards. When you finish the sentence, it'll play the sentence afterwards. And the idea is to try and think of what word it is, try and guess, type it out, and then when you get it right, to hear it. And again, this is going back to like an audio focus. We just audio as much as possible. You turn off the animations if they annoy you. I have dramatically reduced the animations because it was tanking performance in browsers and stuff. Do not be surprised though if you see them creeping back up because I do like my animations. Currently, we have this shake here when it's wrong, and then
wall,
when it's right, the confetti. Sure, no, that's it. So, is there anything else on the screen to chat about? I don't think so. Animations on, you can change your dialect. This is just the default, and watch the tutorial. And if you see anything you don't like, just put a bug here. It will be my fame going through them all. Okay, that's the exercise screen. Let's see. This is coming next, the experimental lesson, right? So the idea here is, let's go into this one. What is this?
Jerem,
Oh. So imagine here, we put up here annotations. This is like, was it a verb, noun, preposition, tense, any of this relevant information, slender, broad, anything that might be relevant at all. And then the same then here. So like word tagging, so you can hover over them and it will highlight that this is the verb and this is the subject and this is the whatever. So you can kind of see the structure of the sentence. And then we put in a learn button and you can click into that and explore the sentence. And that might look like something like this. This is Michael's creation. I think it's really, really good. So let's just pick, let's see if we can find something that I haven't seen before. Let's go this one. So obviously you can see the English here, which might be useful if you're learning. And then over here, overview. So very specific information. Sentence structure follows the pattern: pronoun plus relative particle, verb, subject, preposition, phrase. And then you can imagine we can put in even more nesting. So you can click on the relative particle to see what that is. And then down here it has lenitation is present here. The definite article on lenitates, noun, muncher, Fwain. So past tense. Okay, building on what you know, connecting the dots. And then we might even have some historical factoids, anything that might be relevant to this. This is kind of a throwback to the old Duolingo forums when you click on an exercise and get like a wealth of knowledge. And then we'll be putting this in here so you'll be able to learn. And the idea is, regardless of what the course is about, doesn't matter what it's about. It could be about poetry, or it could just be, I don't know, Harry Potter or something. You should have at all times access to everything you need to know to learn. So all of the grammar concepts that are present in the sentence, I think that might be relevant that you need to learn in the annotation. Click learn or see it here, and then you can click through it and have a look and see, and you might see it when you think, okay, why is this like this? And then you can take a look. So obviously this is a website to show the data that we're thinking about, but when we design and build this, we'll all just be in this. And the idea is that if you know it or you don't care, that's fine. It won't disrupt you. You won't notice it. But for anything that you're curious about and don't know, you can click. There should be no reason ever to leave the app. It should all be present there. Everything you want to know should be present, and to learn in your own time, in your own pace, in your own capacity, right? And yeah, this is kind of the first pass, and it might take a few passes to kind of get it right. As I said, we are the biggest users of this app. We're learning ourselves, so rest assured that we'll be, iterating and making it make sense and all that kind of stuff. But the whole idea is to like dig down, if you want, into the sentence to learn more, and then not passively, but like while you're doing more sentences, hopefully more interesting sentences, you can pick up the grammar and the concepts and stuff as you go along. Okay, that's it. That's that. The listening one is just the exercises with English prompt, so you're just using your ear, and then speaking is see the Irish, click here, being spoken, see the waveform, and then speak it yourself. Have a listen to your own speech, slow or fast, and then when you're happy, you can move on. That's the idea. So the idea is to get you speaking more. These two here are a collection of these three. So these two here have the same sentences for past, present, and future, and the idea is to keep it as similar as possible so you can spot the patterns between the tenses. Later on, each tense has its own set of sentences, so it's more interesting. When we finish the annotation feature, which is like a dictionary annotation learning stuff, that is when we will do this, because we want to know exactly, we need to put this out there, see people use it, see how we use it, and then see what information is actually relevant. So when we are creating this, we create the data properly, because if we were to put this course, this introduction course out now, and then we added it in, we'd have to add it into the boat. So it would be a lot of work. It's much better to get it all done, have it working, fix the bugs, and then add in more courses. Beyond that, so much more ideas we have, different lessons. Like you can even think yourself like about like multiple choice, fill in the gaps, different games, all that kind of stuff, just to keep using the language. And the whole point of this app is to try and get daily exposure to the language up naturally. If you have 5 minutes on a commute, if you're doing stuff, and ideally to make it kind of interesting if you can. And maybe later on, once we get the core experience down, the core language, we might have courses around, I don't know, sport, maybe music. It's just stuff. Like you imagine a course in Irish songs that you could use to like memorize the lyrics. The other thing we added in recently is this. You can see this, the sidebar, very mobile first design. XP is just for fun. It's just to track your progress. We will have leaderboards and other stuff later on, and maybe we might unlock some stuff, cosmetic or something later on to make it more fun. Unique words is something I find really interesting and exciting. This idea, the whole idea of the app is that you're building up your language, that you're not going to be fluent tomorrow, but maybe in a year's time you might be able to hold a conversation quite well, and maybe in 2 years' time you could claim fluency. The idea of building up slowly if you're doing it all the time. That's how you acquire languages, right? And this idea of recording your unique words, the vocabulary, and you can see. So I did still a basic system here that if you've seen it 20 times, you've probably mastered the word. Later on, I could add in if you're using the I'm stuck hint, which means you don't know, or if you're listening or something. We'll factor that in, and we'll use that to see if you actually know it. And then we can generate and tailor lessons based on your level and then what you're struggling with. And then we can also do spaced repetition. So if you see a new word, where are we going? If you see a new word. Um, Maybe we show it to you on a Monday, and then see it again on a, I don't know, a Wednesday, and then I can't remember the science behind it, but there is a science between about learning how many space between words and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot we can do here. It's really good. And you can imagine just building this up, constantly building it up, trying to get into a couple of thousand. I think vocabulary can be directly linked, not in an accurate, precise way, but in a very like general way. Number of thousand of words you have corresponds to a level in the European CEF, CEF or what is it? The standard anyway, A1, A2, B1, B2. I think they can be associated with a number of words, but I think it depends on the language. Um, yeah. So then, the courses. We will put in a dashboard that's a bit simpler and has everything contained there rather than just having the raw courses. Um, Progress and stats. Trees planted. This is the lessons, right? The verbs, the tenses. I've mastered the tree, which is an hour, and I've listened to nearly 1,000 audio plays. That is 1,000 sentences and Irish words spoken, which I think is really good. I'm really happy with kind of this approach. Unique words, sentences complete, XP, and then we have a little like leveling system here. I keep playing with this. Maybe we might do like some unlocks or color schemes or something. Maybe we might change it to a naming scheme around something in mythology or on paintball or something more fun. And then down here we have a streak. I might also put up a heat map, just to see which days you're most active. This was implemented 18 days ago, as you can see. If I ever record a video, you will know exactly when I stopped. So I will need to keep my streak going. I want to change these generic LinkedIn motivations to Sionnach, maybe like the phrases you see on Package Shukra and other stuff. Maybe some blessings or something like that. Average progress, and then you can see past, present, future tree. I didn't include speaking or listening because some people cannot speak and some people cannot listen. So, yeah, and then the most recent activity. What else? Profile and settings. This is here now, so you can change your password. Also need to add in delete account. That's very important. Although you can do that from the website. Originally we had 3 levels because we wanted to know if you were a learner, fluent, or a native speaker if you were submitting audio. Because if you were fluent, we wanted to use the audio, or a native speaker, that is. We will break this into like A1, A2, A1 and I2, and B1 and B2, and then maybe tailor the content. It doesn't make much sense now because there only is one course, right? We changed the age verification from your date of birth to just yes, no. Are you over 18? That's all we need to know. And then currently there's no age restricted content on the app, but later if there was like, uh, you know, recording voices or any of that other stuff, we'll just disable it for anybody who's under. Yeah, the rest of it, this needs to be built out a bit more. Let's see. Updates and news. This is how we do the updates. If anybody works with us, submits audio at work, codes, or whatever, we'll put them here for that release, and all the socials. We're not here in it for profit, we're doing it for the love of the language, but we want to make a massive effort to give credit where we can. So this is the idea. Yeah, so this was a really big one. This is daily streaks and stats and XP and navigation and polish. That was the end of June, and then this one was, this one was just a week. I think the weekend gone. So autoplay complete, fixed the speaking lessons, fixed the vocabulary screen. So we put out features and like they'd be full of minor issues and stuff in 2 weeks, and we tweak them. Yeah, and a refactor. So and then we kind of just acknowledge the issues. The audio bugs seem, for the most part, to be fixed. There is one around punctuation we need to fix this weekend. The UI is just, this is going to take time because we only have so many devices between us. As we see stuff, we fix it. As the app becomes more stable, this stuff will be fixed. But our focus now is on like features and core experience and getting it out. Once we leave the beta, we can't be changing stuff as much. Once we leave the beta, everything will be stable. We will need to spend weeks testing stuff before we release it. We can't have any bugs on the app once we release. So we want to get the features out now while we have the opportunity, because it won't be there in the future. Lots of people want different hotkeys, different approaches, different ways to fodder, different keyboards. We're just going to put in a feature where you can configure this yourself to your heart's content in the profile screen. Okay, so that's that. Future features. This is in a voting system. It's funny because it's like exactly tied between 4 at the moment. Put this in exactly why you might think, because we have assumptions, but people's actual preferences are different. Nobody wants the course marketplace. I thought maybe that people might like that. Maybe that's a solves our problem because of people create content and stuff. Same with create your own lessons. Maybe this is what I want. I don't know. The randomizer, no one's interested in that. 2 people. Audio review, 3 people. So that would be like you submit your audio and someone reviews it. But the big winner seems to be variation. Once we finish the features, we can put loads more time into the content because it's just audio and sentences. And once there's no bugs and they're fixed, it's much easier for us to do this. So this one will be coming. Constantly working on native speech. The support and Patreon and other stuff, that is mainly going into a bucket to kind of try and pay for this if we can't get people to volunteer. Also, that's kind of a depressing talk because that will take a long time. Dark mode, this is Michael's baby. He's working on this. We could probably do teams and other stuff too. And this is what we're working on. This is the annotation stuff. So we actually have a lot of this done, and we probably put the first version in the next week or two. This is quite exciting. What else? Our supporters. So if anybody supports us on Buy Me a Tea or Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, they show up here. You can see the mobile first design. I will fix that. First person to support us was this person. This was like the weekend on which we started all the users on and stuff. And then as people come in, we add them in. So we're never going to remove anybody. If you're here forever, unless you ask to be removed, obviously. If anybody's here and wants to have more details put on, please let us know. We can put up any socials or anything you want. For example, when Mike sent us stuff, signed up, we have Mike's name and email, but we're not going to put his email here. That'd be terrible. So, but if we wanted some more stuff, well, we can do that too. Or maybe we could tie to people's profiles and profile pictures and stuff. I don't know. But we have 8 people. We have one subscription. It's €5 a month. The price of a coffee or a pint or a beverage of some sort. And with that, you can access the Discord and you can get your name here and get more access to stuff. And yeah, this order will be here forever. So please do think about contributing. As I said, all the money goes into the content. Like, it doesn't go on wages or anything else. It's like we ourselves cover the server costs, any of the AI costs, any of the licenses and other stuff. Already with the AI, I think I was trying to use it for refactoring because it's such a dull job, and I caught a bill that was crazy, really crazy, to the point that I had to like change the beans and toast for a week just to cover the loss. So that was my fault. I shouldn't have been so lazy. I should have just done it myself, as I did in the end. Besides that, the server fees, we have like backups and all kinds of like DNS and other kind of stuff, like modern development stuff, which is the flat fee. So it doesn't matter if we have one user or a million, it's going to cost that. And then the way we have built the architecture is per 1,000 users, it's like a few cent a month extra. So like we've built it quite well. It scales quite well, which is good because trying to keep the costs down. But if it was a case we got loads more users, and then if we were doing loads more tracking, like if, for example, we were tracking everything to see which lessons you're struggling on, curate lessons, or if we were kind of give you more insights and stuff, that would add up to our costs. Some of these features might cost more, though I can't think of any. The other thing too is besides these features, there are other stuff, and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. One thing that I really want to do is break the words down into their sounds, IPA, and build the words. So build a sentence with the words and build the words with the sounds. I have an idea how to do this, and I'm playing around with it. Um, if I can pull it off as a prototype, I'll put it up here, and it'd be like a Sounds of Irish approach or something like this, and then that would become one of the proposals. But I don't think it takes too much to think about what we could do here. Like we can do all kinds of stuff from different interfaces, different games. Um, let's just think of any language app you've ever seen. We can do all of that, right? So the only limitation, the only restriction, the only currency, I suppose, here is time. We have so much time each week. Um, we set it out so like a lot of people using the web app. We have 150 people on Android, 150 people on iOS. We closed the beta access. That is because we have more people waiting to go, and by the time we add everybody, the app will probably be on the store. Probably be on the store. Um, yeah, so that's why we closed the beta. Um, you might ask why not just add everybody all at once? Well, I didn't set this up properly. If I was doing this properly, I would have had a MailChimp account and I could email everybody in mass. But I can only email 50 people an hour and 150 people a day. It is the business account. I would pay for it, but it's not set up for this. So that, and then when people come onto it, every 50 people, we have X amount of work. Like people give us wrong email, people get stuck, we get emails back, there's bugs, all kinds of issues. It just takes maintenance. So we really appreciate people using the app. We really like the feedback. It's really valuable. It is why the app is going the direction it's going in. But there's just two of us, so everything that we spend on like emails, everything we spend on fixing stuff, everything we spend on even communicating is time not spent on the app. And on the app, every time you spend on fixing bugs or doing other stuff, it's time not spent on features. So um, we kind of want to be spending all our time on features at the moment and getting a feature set done. And then when we're finished that, we want to spend all our time on content. And yeah, it's exciting. Like we see, it's really exciting watching the stats each day, seeing what's going. But when we get the features done and we get the content done for the first three courses, and then we are leaving beta, that's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed. So, Sinead, that's it. That's my little tour of Sionnach. A little brief overview. Um, Honestly, I could talk at length about so much of this, about the language, how I think it should be learned, about the structure of how we're approaching it, open source versus like going and raising money and doing a company, all of this stuff. Um, so yeah, I really do appreciate people supporting us. If you want to support us on Patreon, buy me a tea, buy me a coffee. You can do one-offs or whatever. It's all hugely helpful. The financial aspect of it, but also the encouragement. You wouldn't believe the dopamine and the confidence it gives us to see people choosing to support and believe in the mission and stuff. Um, we want to keep it free. We want it to be like a self-sustainable thing that it's making enough revenue each month. We can put money into content, into some, design or other stuff. We can pay native speakers, and then the app just gets stronger and stronger. This is what we want. Patreon's funny. Obviously, it's pretty mainstream to use Patreon, but they take their cut, and then you have to use PayPal. So PayPal take their cut, and then Apple puts any money you do via Apple on hold for 75 days, and then they take 30%. Um, so if you are contributing, please consider going to the website and doing it from there. Um, it's pretty funny. I think like, Apple taking 30% is not much you can do about it either. If we put anything onto the app that directs you off the app to pay, they forbid us from pushing it out, which I think is funny. And because this is done for the love of the language. Donations here are like for this. It's not exactly a massive amount of money, but they're still coming in. They could take 30%. It'd be like who's Apple? Steve Tim Cook, is it? Tim Cook coming in and drinking 30% of your pint. It's just like why, why? Anyways, that's my little moan out of the way. I guess we could do crypto, right? We could do what the NFTs or some coin or some nonsense like this. If people would think of that. What would you even call it? Gilga coin or something? Or Artigid? No. Tell me what you'd call a Gaelic language app cryptocurrency ICO. But I don't know. This is just the world we live in. But please do, because as I said, um, all the money's going back into the app, and there is only so much we can do with time. Like you can see in the features, some stuff this is going to take a bit of money. But with that, the app could be incredible. Like just um, imagine these courses done, and imagine having support for the three main dialects. Imagine going in here and just seeing like all kinds of. See, we have the robot for the robot stuff. So we've taken this from all corners of the web. Lumina, Aber, Chonglin, anywhere we can get it. And then we're also now trying to get into the public domain stuff. I've even been trying to clean audio, with the was it Dogan? No, Dogan Irish audio. Ah, Dogan. How am I pronouncing that badly? Some of these are really good. It's random. But yeah, it's audio in this one, and you can but like, it just needs to be clean. So I've been trying to do that. Why am I not finding the audio? Country, counties, speakers, zero on Mead. Interesting. Anyways, yes, and more kind of like hear that.
Yeah, you can.
Need to clean that out. um, yeah, and then somebody showed me some other recordings from other parts. So this is kind of where we are trying to get audio from wherever we can, public domain, but also being respectful of copyright and people's permissions and stuff. So yeah, Sinead, that's it. If you want to talk about anything, any ideas, anybody's a native speaker wants to help out or other stuff, please do get in touch. As I said, this is an open collaboration. Like, there's no egos here. There's no profit seeking. It's just literally about the language. And if your values align, please do reach out. And anybody that does anything, we will credit as much and as far as we can. I think too this fits quite well to Gaelic society to like first of all the patron system, but then also working as a community. Um, as I think a language should be done. It makes more sense to all be contributing and stuff. And if you want to just contribute financially, that's amazing. Or likes or any positivity is fantastic. Or feedback, it's all greatly appreciated. And do please continue with us on this journey. And do please get in touch. How few people are there who have this language? How few people are there out there learning it? We have to make the most of it and look out for each other and network and communicate and um, build community. So please do. Go to Mila Bucas, Slán Live, agus Togaboge.